We're living in a time where remasters are supplementing the fact that game developers can't create titles at a quick enough pace. And that's not always a bad thing, because for some of these remasters and remakes, this provides a great opportunity for people to relive and revisit some of their favorite titles, or even introduce these classics to new people who didn't get a chance to play them the first time around. But it's apparent that some of these developers and publishers are merely just cash grabbing and exploiting certain franchises, knowing that people will buy them regardless. And this leaves the door open for those same developers and publishers to put in as minimal of an effort as possible, and Konami is doing just that with the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of the Metal Gear Solid series. I purchased all of the titles back when they first released. I purchased the HD collection when it came out for the PlayStation 3 and the Vita, and I've bought all of these titles on almost every platform that they've been released on. And I was genuinely looking forward to getting the Master Collection, specifically on the Nintendo Switch. But once I learned that that version is being capped at 30 frames per second and lowered down to 720p when you play it in handheld mode, I mean, that was kind of just it for me. There's no way that I can justify purchasing this collection on that platform. And what's sad is that it's starting to be a common trend where developers and publishers are just not wanting to optimize their game for the Nintendo Switch. And look, I'll be transparent, I don't know what fully goes into optimizing a game for that platform, and I'm sure it's not the easiest thing to do, but I think that we can all agree that putting out shitty products is not acceptable, no matter who's doing it. I mean, take video making for example. If your favorite content creator just started phoning it in and rehashing their old video ideas and not really improving on it in any way whatsoever, and even going one step further by making it worse than what it originally was, I mean, I'm sure you guys would feel some type of way about that. I know I would. And by no means does that stop anyone from making bad products, but at least in this example, YouTube content is free, whereas these video games aren't. And I only bring it up because in my recent videos, I've had some comments, and really it's been rare, but they do exist, basically mentioning that I was being unfair to these developers and publishers, that these guys are doing the best that they possibly can do, and that they just aren't miracle workers. But respectfully, I disagree with that. I don't agree with siding with these multi-million-dollar corporations who clearly don't give a fuck about me or you, because the truth is, they have the capacity and the money and the skilled workforce to put in the time and effort to deliver a quality product. But the executives and the leaders just choose not to do that, and that's not okay. I don't align with that perspective that we should just give them a pass, because the reality is there's going to be people that purchase this collection on the Nintendo Switch, and because of that, they will inherently receive a lesser version of this product when you compare it to the other versions on the other platforms. And I mean, I get it. With newer titles like The Witcher or Doom, I understand that there's going to be quality differences with the Switch version, because that's just the nature of that handheld. But when you're talking about games that are over 15, 20, 25 years old, where the level of hardware that we're currently at with this generation is more than sufficient enough to run these titles pretty consistently across the board. I mean, to see that we still have these major differences, and they are major, that just shows the lack of effort on their part to do a good job and to deliver a quality product. And the fact that they're still charging us full price all over again highlights what they really care about. And it's not us, it's our money and our complacency. And to take it one step further, when you compare the entire Master Collection across the board to previous versions of these titles, it's clear that Konami didn't even take the time to improve on anything, despite the hardware from this console generation being orders of magnitudes better. I mean, it makes no sense that Metal Gear Solid 2 on the Switch runs at 30 frames per second when it ran at 60 frames back when it first released on the PlayStation 2. The Switch is way more powerful than the PlayStation 2. I mean, hell, even the PS Vita version of these games runs better than the Switch versions will. The resolution isn't better, the frame rate isn't better, and there are plenty of other issues with this collection that objectively make it a worse version than anything that they've previously released. Hell, even if you buy the physical version of this collection, you'll still have to download some of the games, so really you won't own a physical version of all of these titles, even though you'll have a disc or a cartridge for it. And the entire purpose of remastering and remaking is to improve on what was previously released. We get a better version of something that we already enjoyed, and they get money for providing that superior product. It was a win-win, and a concept that I'm personally not against. But there are companies out there that are not fulfilling their end of that deal. They're trying to side-skirt their responsibility of providing quality products, and yet they still will require us to pay the full price. I mean, we have to hold them to higher standards, and we have to keep them honest by calling out their bullshit, otherwise we'll be worse off for it, not them.